Welcome back, socialites. If you're new here, I'm Ariell. I do mainly beauty videos, fragrance, and a little bit of lifestyle. The lifestyle videos I do is usually me going somewhere to eat in Houston. Just being honest. So today's video, I'm going to be trying out quite a few new makeup products. I recently did a Sephora and Ulta haul, which you guys seem to have loved. I'll have that video linked in the description box as well as somewhere throughout this video if you want to check it out. But since then, I've done a little bit more shopping, so we're going to talk about some of the things I picked up. So if you saw that video, you know what's in this video. In addition to that, Morphe has launched some new eyeshadow palettes. These are supposed to be a brand new unique formula that's supposed to be superior than their others. So I got one of those. I also picked up a few of their new cream eyeshadows and a few more things. So all of the accessories that I'm wearing in today's video, these mixed metal earrings, which I'm loving. The stack that I'm wearing today, including the bracelets and the watch with the red, I love this, are all going to be from Jasper Cow watches and jewelry. So I'll have their information in the description box as well as on a pinned comment in the comment section. If you want to see how I got this look using some brand new products, some are going to be high end, some of them are going to be super inexpensive, then keep on watching. Okay, socialites, so I'm not going to start off with any skincare. Jane Iredale sent over their new foundation. This is the Radiance Boosting Liquid Foundation that has SPF 30 in it. And I had this on my June makeup tray because I wanted to try it out for the first time. So they sent over 56, 58, and 60. And I've already swatched them for you guys on my face. So this one is 56, this one is 58, and this one is 60. So I do feel like 58 is going to be my best bet. I'm not crazy about the undertone, but I'll go ahead and try it on first and then make the decision because sometimes you can't really tell until it's blended all over. I'm going to start off with one pump. One more pump. So this is the Sephora collection number 64 Pro Brush. Really great quality foundation brush, and I'm just gonna sort of stipple this right into the skin. Okay, the color's not bad. It looks like a medium to full coverage product. Very smooth. And I don't have any prep products underneath at all. I just sort of used a little bit of my toner to clean my face off because it's evening time and I've been out all day. So that's about it. No moisturizer or anything because this does have SPF and skincare in it. And I didn't know if it was going to react to anything. So this is just on bare skin. I could stand to be a little bit deeper. So maybe I'll just, with what's left over on my hand, I'll add a tiny bit of 60, the darkest shade in there. Yep. And that looks like that'll do the trick. And let's blend this down a little bit. The coverage is really, really good. With what's left over on the brush, I'm just dusting it across the forehead. And this is actually the first product I've ever tried from the brand, so can't wait to see how it wears. Now, lately I've been using the Hourglass concealer. Really like it. This is a creamy, full coverage, ultra smooth concealer, minimal creasing. So I have the shade Maple, which is a bit golden, but it works out with the lighter shade. So I use Maple as like a transition, and then I go in with Flax, the lighter shade, and put that in the inner corners. Look how radiant the foundation looks. So I'm going to take a powder puff to blend out the deepest shade of the concealer first. And after I've blended the deeper concealer, I'm going to go into the lightest shade and blend that in. I keep looking in the mirror, like I like how juicy and smooth and just creamy the skin looks. I love that. So from Ulta, I picked up this NYX Wonder Stick that's a contour on one side and like a sort of glowy highlight on the opposite end. And this one is in the shade Medium Tan. This is what the NYX Wonder Pencil looks like. And that's the contour side. I also picked up the new Benefit Hoola bronzer. This is the Hoola Wave. So this one's in the shade Deep, which is the deepest shade they have. This is what that one looks like. So let's dig into this, which I've been itching to get my hands into this one. I'm gonna use this OG makeup brush for this. Oh, I thought it was going to be a lot more creamy than this. Takes a little work to get it on the brush. Interesting, because when you swatch it with your finger, it's smooth, almost creamy, but you got to go in quite a bit when you're using a brush, apparently. That's interesting. So let's see how this one looks on. Okay, sort of warm, but not too warm. It's not like super red. It does go on fairly smooth though, so that's good. And it's not matte, it's a radiant product. So it's just as radiant as the foundation I just applied. This is the type of shade I like though, so I usually don't put product down here. Every time I put product here or here, like a bronzer or contour product, I break out there, but I'll just try to keep it like right in the center. I don't even know what made me want to do that, y'all. I'm just playing. At this point, we're just playing in makeup today. All right, so with this foundation too, you probably only need like 1.5 pumps. I think I used too much, but for some people this won't be too much, but for my taste, this is giving makeup. I mean, so depending on how you take that, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. But I wanted to try out this Skin Silk from Revolution. This is an under eye brightener and concealer, even though I have on concealer. So I do sometimes use the Rare Beauty under eye brightener, and I really like this. It's a really thin sort of sheer product that brightens under eye, and it has that metal tip. Revolution has one, and this one's like a fraction of the price. So let me go ahead and open this. And this one's in the shade Tan Golden, and it also has like a little metal tip. So let me actually compare the shades. So the Rare Beauty shade is there, and Rare Beauty, this one is medium tan, and then Tan Golden in the Makeup Revolution I'll put here. So the Makeup Revolution looks a little bit more neutral than the Rare Beauty one, and slightly lighter, or maybe because it's more neutral it appears to be lighter, which I'm not mad at. So it'll probably brighten a little bit more than Rare Beauty. So the way you use the Rare Beauty is I usually put like 3 little dots. So that's how we'll do that, and we'll do one at a time just so you can just compare like what type of brightening it does with this shade. And it's on the thin, almost watery side. Not watery, but it's thin. From using something as thick as the Hourglass, you would think it's watery. Let me say it like that. So this isn't a product that you're gonna sit and let thicken. You know what I mean? So when you put it on, you'll just go ahead and blend it. You're not gonna let it sit like you would most concealers. It actually brightens more than my Rare Beauty one does. So, hey girl, we have a cheaper option in case you guys were looking for a cheaper option, and especially if you wanted something a little brighter, if you were the same shade as me in the Rare Beauty brightener. And it blends really smooth and easy, like it just melts right in. And I don't think I have a new setting powder. I do have this Morphe one that's a finishing powder, so we'll try this towards the end. So I'm gonna take my Laura Mercier translucent powder. This is the original formula, and I'm going to use this to set my highlighted areas. Just a very thin layer of this, because Hourglass concealer is kind of thick and we don't want to give cakey. Make it sort of smooth on the back of my hand and thin. We don't want it too heavy. Pat any creasing, which there's very minimal creasing right now, and go right in. See, that's too much. So I'm just kind of stamping excess off the back because I don't want it to be too heavy under eye. Remember, I picked up one of these Sephora blushes. This is called the Blush and Go. It's a liquid blush. It's in the shade 03 on the bright side. So let me go ahead and swatch it. So it's a beautiful terracotta shade, and it looks like it's maybe like a glowy finish to it, but it does say liquid blush matte finish on here, so it may be matte. So let's go right over top, and there's this sort of sponge applicator. Just mesh that right in between my highlight and my cream bronzer. Very unique packaging. It looks like it's empty in here, so the product probably only goes down to here. This fits in the whole component, and there's probably a little product in there, and then there's 2 holes at the bottom in there, I guess, where the product comes in through. So I don't know if you guys can see the hole, but that's very unique. I've never really seen a blush quite like this before. King Muss duo-sided brush from Amazon. That was a gift from my friend Michelle, and I'm gonna take this side of it and just sort of blend it. You know what this reminds me of? The NARS Afterglow blushes. That's what this looks like, and how pigmented it is. It's on the sheer side, and it says matte, but it definitely looks radiant. This is not matte, even though they say it's matte. This is a radiant finish. How sheer, like this is definitely giving NARS Afterglow dupe. It's giving wash of color, which I'm not mad at. So if you don't like a super pigmented blush and you just want like a pinch of color, these may be the solution for you. I feel like it did pick up a little bit of the foundation though, because this hyperpigmentation here was concealed before I went in with that blush on top. So I probably need to apply this with the creams first. That way I can make sure everything stays in place. But I mean, now I know how to work with it. So back into the Laura Mercier powder, making it smooth and thin. And I'm just gonna lightly go over that. So a couple days ago, I think this was after the haul, I went back to Ulta and I picked up this Maybelline brow glue. Y'all know I love brow glue, and I've been seeing this all over social media, so I thought I'd try it out. I like a stronghold brow glue. It's called Super Lock. So with a name like that, I'm assuming that it gives a stronghold, but I'll definitely be the judge of that because if you guys watch the majority of my trying new makeup videos, I feel like everybody claims that they have a super hold with their brow gel and nobody really has a super hold. It's like rare. Ooh. I like the wand. It's a strong wand. Like it's really sturdy, so I can feel like the comb going all the way down, like touching the skin. And it's immediately pushing the hair in the direction that I want it to go. It looks like a hair gel, what I'm seeing, but it looks like a clear hair gel. Okay, y'all, the hype might be real on this one. So I don't have a new brow pen. Well, I do, and I've showed you guys before. Now this is the one from L'Oreal, the faux brow, but this is one of those with the multiple little tips on the end for you to get like those hair-like strokes throughout your brow. But I only use it at the head of the brow. Maybe I'll try it throughout the whole brow. I've worn it maybe 3 times already and I like it, but I've only used it at the head of the brow. So maybe I'll try using it throughout the whole brow. So I kind of feel like I want something darker than this for the tail of the brow, but let me put a little bit over here. So I'm just gonna fill in the tail of the brow with my Sephora Collection brow pencil. We'll get to the head of the brow with the L'Oreal faux brow. Okay, I do have a little bit more blending to do with the brows because I'm not loving the brows, but let's move on to the eyes. Girl, we have some options for the eyes, okay? I've been wanting to try the About Face eye primer. I love About Face, y'all. So when I got the Maybelline brow gel, I also saw they had one of these in stock. Last one, every time I go in there, they're sold out, but they had one left. So it says Smoothing Shadow Fix from About Face. That's the wand. Feels really thin and smooth, almost like a silicone mixed with a powder. So it looks like it's pretty clear, but also Morphe has launched quite a bit of new eye products. They've come out with a product that sort of reminds you of Y'all know the MAC paint pots. This is a MAC paint pot, which is like a cream shadow that you can also use as an eyeshadow base. Well, they've come out with something that I'm thinking is supposed to be similar to that. And today I picked up 3 shades. I want to say they have like 8 shades to choose from. So I got 3 of the neutral shades. So first one is Melody. They're called the Solo Artist Priming Cream Eyeshadow. So it's a cream eyeshadow just like the paint pots, but it's interesting that they say it's priming. Even though the MAC ones don't say priming, we know that they give priming, you know? So this is what it looks like. This is the shade Melody. It looks a little darker than like Painterly paint pot, if you guys know what Painterly is. So it feels just like a paint pot. That's it right there. This next shade is Debut. Now Debut does look like Painterly. So that's Debut, and this one is Melody, and Debut. The last shade I got is called Set List. This one's a rich brown. It's not too warm nor too cool. It's like a true brown. Set List. So Morphe also came out with a ton of eyeshadow palettes, and they're really unique, not only because of the shades, but the formula is different. So these are called the new ChromaPlus blend. These are pigment packed performance and all day wear. So it's powered by the new ChromaPlus blend for high performance. So I got one of the 12 pan shadow palettes, and I think they had like 6 different ones to choose from, but they also have 6 pan palettes to choose from, and I think they have like 6 of those as well. And so they all have this new formula. But look at that, the artwork is so nice. 30 packaging, so it doesn't feel cheap at all. This came in here, so it sort of lines out like how you apply the shadows, which is pretty cool, especially for beginners. It's like step 1, step 2, step 3 on here for you. A big significant size mirror, as you can see. And this is the Electric Current color story. So the first row here, this is what these 3 shades look like. Very pigmented. I literally only had to touch my finger in it once, and look at the color payoff. So wow, and they feel like butter. And then the second row here, this is how they look. Now this looks more true to color to me. This is on my fingers, they look super true to color. To me, Morphe palettes give very much hit or miss. Some of their palettes are better quality than others, but out of all the Morphe palettes that I've tried over the years, I've never tried any that felt this buttery, smooth, creamy with this type of color payoff, you know? So this one, and yeah, they look true to color on my fingers. The last row definitely gives true to color on my fingers, and so we're gonna dig into this eyeshadow palette today, and I wanna see how it performs on just like kind of like bare eye, or how I normally apply shadow, which is with a little bit of concealer on my eye, but I'm not gonna add anything additional. I wanna see if these claims live up to the hype, you know what I mean? Because they're supposed to like not crease and be really like pigmented and everything on the eye. So we're gonna put that to test. I think this came in a set, and I don't remember what set this came out of, but so I'm gonna take this brown. When I put the brush in the pan, it did get a lot of kick up. It didn't do that when I swatched it with my finger, but once the brush touched it, make sure you knock off the excess, because quite a bit of excess just came off. Like it's really powdery once you put your brush in there. So be careful with that. And I'm gonna put this right in the outer, so y'all can already see this is super pigmented. I'm gonna take this MAC 217S brush. It's sort of like a blending brush, but then it's flat too on the sides. And I'm gonna take this shade here. This one's very powdery too, so you wanna be careful. And I'm gonna put that right next to that dark brown. Flipping the brush to the other side, I'm gonna take this shimmery pink. Oh, look at that. And I lightly fade it into the matte. Not sure if I like this combination of colors and textures together, but at least we can see what it looks like. So this gives like super shimmery, glimmery, like a fairy type. As you guys can tell, these shadows don't even need a base on them because they are just that heavily pigmented. So I do want to fade the top of the shadow look to give it a smoother transition. So I'm going to take this Tarte palette and just that as like a blending shade. This is the Sigma E25 blending brush. So I'm just gonna apply some lashes and then we'll move on to the rest of the face. So I did pick up this glue. This is the Ariell Stronghold Lash Glue during my last haul as well, and I'm loving it. I was nervous about it because it is a white glue, and in my experience, white glue, you can always see it, like it dries with like white bits on your lashes or on your eye look, but this dries completely clear. And I think on the packaging it might have said something like 24-hour hold, and y'all, it is a true super strong hold. So I do recommend, I would definitely repurchase this. Sephora collection Tiramisu. This is their 12-hour pencil. So with the amount of fallout that I got from the Morphe shadow, we're not even gonna play those games to try to smudge the bottom. So I'm gonna take this MAC palette. The shade that I put in here is called I'm Into It, the darker shade, chocolatey reddish brown, I would say. So I'm gonna take this with a BK Beauty 210, which is a little small pencil brush, and I think that matches perfectly with the look. And everything I'm using today, I'll have linked in the description box. These are some Ariell lashes, so I'll have the style in the description box as well. This is just my Merit complexion stick. So the Morphe finishing powder. This is a new product. This one's in the shade Sunset. It's the Cloud Light Soft Glow Veil Powder. And I want to say this shade Sunset is the deepest shade in this product. Very unique. I don't have a product like this. The closest thing I would say that I have to this is like an Hourglass ambient powder, but it's softer. It's a lot softer than the ambient powder. So ambient powders give soft to me anyway, like that soft sheen. This is even softer of a sheen than the Hourglass ones. Sort of reminds me of do y'all remember those Laura Mercier? I'll try to pop a picture of the Laura, and I have it somewhere. The Laura Mercier pressed powders that have a little bit of a glow, a little bit of a sheen to it. That's sort of what this looks like on the skin. So, well, when I swatched it anyways, I haven't tried it on my face yet. So what it looks like. So see, it's just softly reflective, just a little bit of a sheen to it. So this is one of those products you want to apply like after your makeup. So I'm going to take my Nikki LaRose N15. I'm sure I'd see this a lot more in the sunlight than I am in these studio lights. Because, oh, I can see the difference. So I didn't apply any on the cheek here, but I have it here. So you see how it gives it just the most softest, subtlest glow. This is pretty. This is like a red carpet product to me, like where you want it to have that glow, but not too crazy. But I feel like it's adding a little gray hue. A little bit of a gray hue. So maybe this is a product that you want to use more like in the contoured areas. Sort of hard for me to tell, to be honest, y'all. So comment down below, let me know what you think. But I feel like it made a little bit of a gray hue here. So this is one that you might want to just put on top of contour. I feel like I messed my makeup all the way up, but we're going to move on and keep the show going. Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. This is also a finishing powder, my favorite. This one's in the shade 2 Medium. Okay, we got on makeup today, girl. This is made up. So I did pick up one of those duo-sided Charlotte Tilbury lip pencils, the Lip Cheat tan medium. So this one is the second to the darkest shade. So it has like a chocolate brown and then like almost like a pinky color there, and you're supposed to use it as like a lip combo, or you can use one shade or the other depending on, you know, how it shows up on your lip. And I did use this on one of my last trying new makeup videos, the side with the darker shade. And I do slightly overline, as you guys can see. I just like the look. And it evens out my lips because my lips aren't shaped even. One of them, the side of my lip goes in on one side and it's fuller on this side. So when I overline, it gives me the illusion of like an even lip, like that they're shaped the same. I've never tried these. So this is the e.l.f. Glow Revolver Melting Lip Balm that has taken the internet by storm. Now these lip balms have significant color to them, so they're supposed to be duping the Summer Fridays lip balms, but these are more pigmented, have more color to them than the Summer Fridays. This one's in the shade Vanilla Toffee. I also have the pink one. I think it's called Sugar or something, Pink Sugar, maybe not. Maybe that's the Summer Fridays one that's called Pink Sugar, but I do have the pink one that e.l.f. gifted me at a YouTube event, but I bought this one from Ulta, so let's try this one. Oh, it smells so sweet, like a warm cookie. Oh, look at that shade, girl. I think this lip is absolutely perfect with the eye because I have these sort of bold or more playful colors with this very understated, subdued lip color. The complexion in general is eating. So this has quite a bit of coverage to it. So for me, 1 pump to 1.5 would be more than enough. I did pick up, and this stuff is in that haul, I did pick up these Essence liquid blush and an Essence liquid bronzer, and there's probably a couple more products that I got. I have a few boxes of PR too that we'll try out next time, but I'm not even gonna spray the look down because I'm about to go to sleep. I'm just gonna take this off. So recap, I think we might be using this on the next video. I think it looks beautiful. I love how smooth it is. I love the coverage of it. I just feel like I don't need this much coverage. I can apply a little bit less and still get a great look because this is definitely giving makeup, which is not a bad thing. It's just not my thing, if you get what I mean. So excited to try this again. The Sephora Blush and Glow. I think this is really pretty. They say it's matte. I don't think it's matte though. Once I set a powder on top, it gave matte, but to me, this could be a dupe for the NARS Afterglow. Now the Makeup Revolution Skin Silk Under Eye Brightener, I think it could be a dupe for the Rare Beauty Under Eye Brightener. I do like this shade better than the shade that I use in the Rare Beauty Brightener because it brightens a little bit more and it blends out just as effortlessly as the Rare Beauty. So I'll be trying this one again for sure. I think the packaging of the new Morphe palette is stunning. The quality of the actual packaging is excellent. These have a ton of fallout though. Girl, a ton. But at the same time, it's so rich in pigment that you don't need any type of base underneath, and I love the color story. They had a few other palettes that I really wanted to, but I wanted to get something a little bit different from like my normal palette, so that's why I went with this, and I'm glad I went with this one. I was thinking that I would buy another one with a different color story, but we'll see. I want to play around with it a little bit more before I make up my mind on that because it's just so much fallout, you know. The new Benefit Hoola Bronzer Wave, which is the cream one, I think this is beautiful on my skin. I do like this. I wish that it was a little bit creamier, but I'm gonna try using a different brush and seeing if it applies a little bit better because the application was not the easiest. The Morphe Cloud Light Soft Glow Veil powder in the shade Sunset. I like the concept of it. I like how I got that soft sheen on my cheeks. I do feel like I have a slight gray cast. I don't know if I applied too much or if it's made to use somewhere different on the face. So we're gonna try this out again and maybe use a little less if I use it on my cheeks, maybe use it on the perimeter a little bit more. I'm not sure, but we'll play around with it and try to figure it out. But I'm not going to count this one out because I do like that sheen. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about this one. Have you guys picked it up yet? Did you get a different color? You know, what are your thoughts on this? And then this, the e.l.f. Glow Revolver Melting Lip Balm. It's non-sticky. It's not super thick. It does have a beautiful shine to it, and I do like this color. Smells like cake. A little bit of it has touched my tongue, and it tastes kind of sweet. So I don't know, do they have sugar in it or what, but it's pretty. So I'm excited to try out the pink one. Now, the L'Oreal Faux Brow was on my June makeup tray, and I told you guys that I had tried it already, and I love it. This is really nice. I like how you get these very realistic hair-like strokes, and I'm obsessed with the shade. I don't really get it right a lot of the times when it comes to picking a brow shade, and this one just works so well with my current brow color. I like how it bends and contours to the face easily, so it's not super stiff, and I like the price point. I have these sort of brow pens with the little flicks from a couple of different brands, and I must say this one is the standout. I don't reach for those that much, but I've already reached for this one maybe 3 or 4 times so far, so that's saying something for me. Charlotte Tilbury duo-sided lip cheat, the lip liners. I do love the concept of this, and I like the formula even better than the original lip cheat. Now, because it's called lip cheat, I assume that it was the same formula. They may claim that it's the same formula, but this is a lot creamier and smoother than the original formula because I do own a couple of them. This is different. I like this shade better than the shades that I have, and I have Foxy Brown. I like this shade better. Now, this is, you're supposed to be able to use it as like a lip combo. I'm not too crazy about this side of it, so I just feel like, can we come out with this formula, this shade, in one full pencil? And I will be cool with that because I feel like I'm not going to use this side very much. I think that's it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you've tried anything that I mentioned today, comment down below. Let me know what you think. If you're new here, welcome. I'd love for you to come join the family by hitting the subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. 'Cause I've been where you are. You're too scared to show me love, 'cause too fresh with the scars.